Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, viewers. Welcome once more to Requiem for London. Our scene is set tonight in the College of London, where one Joseph Z. Marin is recuperating after the tragic events of the past couple of nights. You have not had much contact from the outside so far, and you have been sort of keeping to the quarters that were given to you by the more elderly Nosferatu who released you from the prison that the bunny put you in. You have not had that much contact with him since then. Again, you've been mostly keeping to yourselves. He does have a few ghouls on hand who have been tending to your needs. But they are sort of mousy individuals, very shy, very reserved, and only really speak when spoken to, so they make for poor company. So, what has Joseph been up to these past couple of nights?
Joseph Zamarin, aside from mourning the loss of his friends and ghouls, he has mainly been contemplating. He has been feeling so much raw rage and emotion, just this anger, this hatred for that damnable rabbit, that bunny. It's just overwhelming him, and he's been looking in the mirror more and more and seeing that his visage is becoming even more strange. It's not completely inhuman just yet. It's still, he could still pass for, albeit an ugly human, but his face is set as much more coarse. It may look normal upon first viewing it if he had the blush of health on and maybe from a distance, but if a mortal or a kindred were just to look at him for long enough, they would notice his very coarse, very dry skin, even for his own complexion itself. And he's just been looking at himself in the mirror all these few nights. He's probably been reading some books while he's in here, anything supplied. He's been writing ideas down on paper of what to do next, of just so many things that have to be done. But the first and foremost is to find out what the Ordo has planned for him. And he just sits here contemplating. He tries to strike up conversation maybe once or twice with a ghoul that walks by, but none of them seem to want to talk. He's just very torn currently, very emotional. He needs somebody, a shoulder to cry on currently, but no one will give him one. Maybe it's an early onset of his clan curse.
Perhaps indeed. The individuals you do try talking with are very short, very selective with their language, and most of them simply follow instructions. And any questions about the whereabouts of the one who retrieved you is met with that he will address you when the time is right. And you've been basically waiting a couple of days for when the time is right. But little do you know that that time is now, as the scene is taking place. For it's about that time you will hear a knock at your dwellings. You'll recognize the knock, it's one of the servants.
Hmm. I open the door and I look at the servant, just to get a general idea of just who they are and what they look like. Are they just like the regular one that's come in here to bring me my food or vitae, I guess?
Mhm. They don't come bearing vitae this time, though. This individual that just simply says, Master Weiss Stavros will see you now. You will find him in the study.
Hmm.
And then he'll bow, as he always does,
I pull
every
out,
single time you've interacted with him.
just as a little bit of a, just to be maybe a little nice. I pull out maybe a dollar pound, and I flick it off my thumb as for him to catch it.
Oh, he's a bit surprised at that, maybe even flinches, and he just try to catch it, but in an almost comical manner. It just sort of bounces from hand to hand before finally going on the floor, and he of course picks it up and goes, "Oh, very good, sir. Thank you, sir."
It's all right. After getting just a small like giggle out of that, I hand him another one.
Thank you, kind sir. He'll be waiting for you just right this way. As again, he bows and beckons and bows again, maybe a bit more than he should. Again, like he's probably not used to getting tips or any type of payment. Well, probably besides blood. Then again, you're not even sure if he's really a ghoul. He could just be hopelessly enthralled individual for all you know. But that's of no concern as of right now. There are bigger fish to fry. And a question that needs to be answered as you approach the study. When you enter it, it's, standard for the College of London. Books lining the walls, several astrological globes, different arcane symbols, or at least arcane looking symbols. You do not have the most extensive schooling in terms of the occult, but you can definitely recognize that they seem to be occult in nature of some kind, but primarily just lots of books and scrolls sprawled open all over any available surface, just words, just an ocean of words, as it were. And the individual, this Weiss Stavros, this person just sort of standing with his back turned to you, just sort of looking over a particularly large book, but as you approach, you'll hear a slam as he closes it, and then turns around with a bit of a smirk. And he just stares at you for a minute, just sort of examining you, taking you all in. He'll walk a bit closer.
I bow before he walks towards me, actually.
And as he does so, just sort of raise an eyebrow, look at you, look at your attire, and go, "That'll have to do." And it's very peculiar because he has an accent, I mess there's no other way to say it, but a rather Jewish sounding accent by the sound of it as he addresses you, an accent you haven't really heard before, at least in the instances that you've talked to him beforehand. As he puts his hand to his chin and he looks at you and he says, "Tell me, Joseph, right?
Yes.
What is the dragon's greatest weapon?"
Joseph, in his mind at this point, is just thinking and thinking and thinking, oh, crap. I didn't know I was going to be quizzed on this. And he's just thinking in his head, the dragon's greatest weapon. What? Uh, uh, and yeah, as he's trying to formulate an answer, would I be able to roll for any of this? Or is this just like
Unfortunately, there's no real role for this kind of thing. It is
just
very
going?
much a riddle. The only thing you could try and gauge is exactly what he's trying to get out of you. Perhaps what he's trying to test you for.
Well,
In that case, it would be a wits plus empathy to try and see through his cunning subterfuge, which in this case would be a whopping 4.
wits and cunning. Let's see here. Uh,
Wits and empathy.
oh, empathy. Okay, I have. Oh, okay, that'll work. I have 5 for that.
-4.
Oh, -4. Okay, I didn't hear what you
Yeah.
said. This man is a smarty.
Oh boy, is he. Was that a chance dice?
No, that's
Okay,
just
well, that could
one.
have been worse, though. Would you like to opt for a critical failure?
No, because
All right.
Joseph is just going to say, he just thinks in his head, what is the dragon's greatest
Mhm.
weapon?
You can't really
It's,
gauge him. It's partially that smirk and how he's just sort of looking, just sort of waiting. It's almost if he can tell that the wheels in your head are going, and he just sort of goes, "Ah."
and Joseph just looks at him and he goes, dragon's greatest weapon is our ability to blend in with the mortal herds.
Wrong.
Of course.
You're going to have quite a bit of work on you. But I guess there's a bit of potential there underneath all the shit. So, as he will just sort of put his hands on the table and go, I heard you have quite the big mouth on you, boy. Challenging Ancilla to lifelong games of revenge. It's very exciting. What exactly do you plan on doing? What exactly was going on in your head? What was the little hamster on the wheel doing as it was just sort of spinning around it down up there?
I just stare at this Nosferatu for the longest time after hearing that, and I just say in this very monotone way, rage.
Ooh, yeah, we're gonna have to do something about that. You see, because all those emotions that just are sort of all kind of churning up around in there, there's things that are gonna hold you back, kid. They're gonna hold you back hard. A dragon's greatest weapon, it's not the claws, it's not the strength of the blood, it's not being able to rip apart a person's armor. Although we can. It's fucking easy. It's not the dragon's breath either, all that mystical mumbo jumbo, the spells, the concoctions, the coils, the scales. Oh, it's potent, but no. Not the greatest weapon of the dragon. The greatest weapon of the dragon is the dragon's voice, boy. The fact that the dragon can speak words, that it can sound like a person. Like, if you can sound like a person, you can make people forget that you're a monster. In fact, people will want to believe you. Words are the ultimate power, boy. And I can show you exactly how. Because, honestly, right now, your word, your name, the symbol that sums up your being is slave. That's what you are, kid. That's the essence of your being right now, in time, is slave. You're nothing. Absolutely nothing. No sire, no home, no haven, no property anymore after the bunny's little stunt. But worse than that, Oathbreaker. You're familiar with what that word is, boy.
Enlighten me.
It's somebody who goes back on their word when they promise something. Like, I don't know, say you promise to deliver a fat monster to an Ancilla who has probably the greatest influence in the cacophony in town, and you skim on the deal. You know what that does? It puts you in a bad spot because no one's going to trust you anymore. And it puts us in a bad spot because it looks like we made you do it. And it leads to, say, the destruction of your two closest friends in the whole world.
Right when he says that, he might see just a glimmer in the eye of Joseph. Just that, they kind of just go up. They widen just a bit right when he says it, but they just go back to normal.
There it is again. See that rage? It muddles your words. It makes you say things that are stupid. You gotta have a calm head, kid. If you want to survive, if you want to actually have revenge against the bunny, then you got to stop with all the rage bullshit. You gotta take a breath and calm the hell down. I'll give you another example. You know that guy who tried to, well, he nearly sucked all and everything there was, almost just gobbled up your name just a couple nights ago. You know the guy? Oh gosh. Gangrel,
Butcher.
Darthian. Ah, yeah, the Butcher. That guy was a prime specimen. He had a very interesting name. If it could be summed up, it was Hunter. Yeah, that guy. Man, I wish I could have actually, like, maybe seen exactly how he took apart this sanctified sons of bitches. Oh, it would have been interesting to see that at work. But despite all that, he was taken down by a fucking maquette neonate. A maquette neonate. I mean, you couldn't take him down. In fact, the story goes that you flat out ran, and That sanctified whore couldn't take him down, even though she pleaded. Oh, how she pleaded. But it was the maquette that took him out. Do you want to know how he did it?
How?
5 words. No magic spells, no nothing, just 5 words. But the 5 words. The 5 words that make a person powerful, that strip away a person's defenses, that rob them of their agency, and put you in control. All throughout human civilization, words are the means of control. You control the language, you control what is said. You're able to line up all these symbols. You're able to create magic. Real magic, true magic. None of this hoity toity bullshit. That is the secret to true power. 5 words. Just 5. Nothing else. Surrender now, or Jack dies. Oh, did you feel that? Yeah, you felt that, didn't you? That right there, that's called the voice of the dragon. It's when people stop taking you for granted. It's when people stop looking down on you. It's when you have power. True power. That's the power of words, boy. And oh gosh, it's going to be a bit of work. Again, we got to pretty much change everything that you are. But we can make you powerful too. Because right now I'm an apprentice short, because despite you being a slave, you do have another word associated with you, survivor, and I need a survivor, because my last apprentice, he failed, where you succeeded, and I find that incredibly strange, because this guy has been my apprentice for years, and yet he was eaten by the fat monster, but you weren't. So either you are the luckiest son of a bitch in the world, or my apprentice was either mind-controlled or had a profound moment of stupidity. So, what do you say, kid? You ready to cut the bullshit?
I say we're in business.
Ah, good. In that case, I need to set down a few ground rules. And remember, you already have the word Oathbreaker associated with you, which means that even if you say you're going to do something, I'm not going to believe it until you prove me wrong. And because you've broken your word once, it means that you can never break it again. Because if you do it again, you'll never have another chance.
I
Do
never
you
break
understand?
it. I'll never break it to the dragons. I can tell
No,
you
no,
that.
no, 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 no. You see, that's your problem, kid, is you're seeing things in black and white. You are never going to break an oath ever again. If you give your word, it doesn't matter what it is, take out the trash, go pick up some blood, blow a guy, whatever it is, you're going to do it. Because no one but an idiot would trust somebody who broke the word twice. There is no denying that you're a piece of shit if that happens.
I'll
So are you
agree.
a piece of shit?
I am. I
Interesting.
was. I was a piece of shit, and I can improve. There is a.
No, 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 no. That's too. Now you're going for the humble approach. No, no, no. Look, as he'll sort of just pull up a chair, just put it in front of him, and then sit down on it, almost like I guess a screen director would sort of almost. And he just goes, "You need to create a symbol for yourself, something that is you, something that's untarnished. Because if you don't, everyone's going to associate you for what you were."
A symbol.
Yes. For instance, we can probably just sort of cut this circa 1800s garb you got going on. Probably means something to you by the looks of it. A gift from your sire, probably.
A gift from my sire. This is just how
Imagine
I've
so.
always dressed.
Gosh, what are you, from the 1900s?
I did it to scare the people in my village because they all hated me.
Well, this isn't going to
Enough.
work here because everyone's going to not take you seriously if you wear that here.
Well, they don't have to. If they have see my apparel as the most important part of my being, then they are the lowliest degenerates I have ever met.
Oy vey. Okay, okay, okay. We're gonna have to backtrack a tiny bit. Kid, right now, you're laughable. And you're not going to be able to accumulate power if you're laughable. In order to have, to have the voice of the dragon, you can't have somebody to look at you and laugh. You either have to have the power to dress however the hell you want, like your good friend the bunny, who 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 can dress like an idiot and get away with it, or you need to adapt to the times. Adapt. That is such an interesting word. To change, so that way you can take advantage of pre-existing misconceptions. It's like, oh gosh, it's like a alchemical change. It's, you see, right now you're lead, kid. You're just a big old hunk of lead. But if you listen to me and take my lessons to heart, we'll turn you into sublime gold. Sublime gold that can fucking destroy people, destroy their enemies. And you want that, don't you? Oh, I can tell you want that.
I just wanted to come here for research, and now I get embroiled in this
Well,
madness.
what did you think was going to happen? I mean, you don't know anyone. Do you think people would just open the doors for your kid? I mean, already you've managed to piss off all of Clan Nosferatu within what, like the first week of your here? Managed to make the Order Dracul look like idiots the second. But you do have some worth. Don't think that I'm just bringing out all the bad. A survivor is important because the survivor continues the story. They make their name grow, make the weight of their name grow. Here, I'll give you an example. Dracula. Feel that again? Yes, the voice of the dragon. In that name, just one name, enough to put fear into the hearts. Or perhaps one more for you. McGee. Another one. You can almost feel it, can't you? The voice of the dragon. If you want that kind of power, you need to seriously examine your priorities. So, what are your priorities?
My priorities were to research. I wanted to understand the strange and the weird of this world. That is
All right.
my
How did you go about
purpose.
doing it?
How did I start?
No, how did you go about examining the weird and the heebie jeebies?
Oh, I think it was the creature that started that, the
No,
monster.
no, 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 no. Again, you got to reprioritize. How did you go about finding these things? Did you just go to some random haven and be like, hey, are there any fat monsters wandering around? Who did you meet? Who did you talk to? What connections did you make? What inroads did you make? Who has their back out for you to let you know, hey, there's a fat monster, unless you somehow stumbled upon it for some reason.
I did.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay, we're gonna have to do a lot of work. We're going to start with something basic. I need you to fulfill a task that my dear late apprentice Bernard, oh may he rest in peace, wasn't able to accomplish. It's simple, and it will show you a great deal about how the Sworn of the Mysteries work. Because people a lot more powerful than I have put words into place that you don't break. Because if you break, you suffer the consequences. I'm sure you're aware of that. The oldest of us call it the traditions, but the more newer versions of it are the edicts, the prince's edicts. Different every city you go to, but the traditions normally remain about the same. So we gotta work around that, which means we need to create inroads. Did you feel that? Huh? Yes, yes.
Yes.
That's what you need to work on right now. You already have a start. You have the sanctified bitch. Milk the crap out of that. Just go to church, listen to her song and dance, whatever the hell you have to do, but hold on to that because that is an inroad. Because you can use that. Be that shoulder to cry on. If she needs help, be there for her. She needs a job done, offer your services for nothing in reward. Everything you do will garner favor, which in turn polishes that rough lead that you were into that sublime gold. You need to get it so that the name Joseph Z. Marin doesn't make people laugh, but instead raises an eyebrow and says, yeah, yeah, I want him at my back. It's because of that. If you succeed in this, I'll make you my new apprentice. Let's hope you. Well, you're not as big an idiot or as susceptible to mind control as the other one.
What happened to the last one?
Forget about it. It's really silly. But, and when you get to my position, sometimes you create some rivals here and there. So somebody along the line, I thought it would be a fun idea to have him get eaten by the fat monster. The one you captured that we have secured in a safe holding cell. Yeah,
Yes.
it's absolutely pathetic. But regardless, what's past is past. And if you want it to remain past, you won't break a single word that you give from now on. If you do, you're out. If I ever see you again, you'll be nothing but a slave. 2. You are going to play nice with the bunny. You don't have to like him, but you're going to play nice. You're going to be respectful, and you're not going to pull any, I don't know, say stupid crap that's going to, make the dragons or yourself look even more bad. You're going to repair the bridges that you burned with that, even if you have to crawl on your hands and knees. And 3, you are not going to do anything to make me look bad, because I'm taking a gamble on you, kid. A very, very risky gamble. And if you don't have some sort of profit, then, well, that's just going to make me look like an idiot and make me lose power. And you don't want that. You don't.
Deal.
All right. So, first things first. What are we going to do about your wardrobe? Complete makeover, I'll say. We'll make you look like a fucking poster boy for the Invictus by the time we're done. You'll be absolutely unrecognizable, and that's good. You need to have the old. Think of it like this. You're in a chrysalis phase right now, kid. There's another one, chrysalis. Power. The voice of the dragon. You are going to metamorphosize into something new. You're going to shed that sort of yucky, grimy coffin exterior, and you are going to emerge as something powerful, but not some fucking butterfly, but a dragon, a true dragon.
What did you have in mind?
Proper suit, mustache shaved, hair cut, slick back. We're gonna need to give you some sort of pocket square, probably a favor of some kind. We'll look up some interesting words for flowers, probably maybe something like rebirth or unkillable. I don't know. It's flowers. I got a person for that. In fact, we'll just bring them out. Boys, girls, come on. And with that, the door will sort of open, and several of the ghouls will start coming in. But they actually are carrying things. One of them is carrying sort of a foldable chair. Another one's carrying an apron and some tailor's equipment, some barber's equipment, and it looks like they're just ready to just begin right now. It's almost like an operation room as all of these ghouls just come in. Some of them having smocks with these strange you're not sure if they're letters from any known language, but they're almost symbols upon them as they begin to set up shop. There is this individual, this Weiss Stravos, just sort of walks around you and looks at them and go, come on, we don't have all night.
I look. Before any of the barbers can get to him, Joseph proceeds to take a small, not a rubber band, the thing that holds your hair up or whatever, and he just tries to put his hair into a ponytail of sorts.
As you'll just sort of look at it, I guess it could work if nothing else, but the mustache has to go. I mean, come on, who are you, Snidely Whiplash?
Why does the mustache have to go?
Because this is a clean-shaven world. Have you seen the fucking buildings out there? You can look at your teeth and clean it if you want to. Everything's shiny, everything's luminous.
Ugh.
I know it's disgusting, but again, you want to distance yourself from who you were, kid. And this'll do it. Might not be pretty, might not be nice, but every once in a while, we gotta reinvent ourselves. I've had to do it. Everyone's had to do it. Hell, I'm pretty sure fucking Graves has had to do it. Hell, maybe even the Prince has had to do it. You know what? That's just what a requiem does to somebody. If you sing the same song forever, it's going to get stale. So on occasion, you have to transition. You have to adapt. You have to change the chords, the notes, the words to similar to keep the spirit of the requiem. But change it. Maybe sing it in a different language. Maybe sing it with a different accent. Maybe change the words. Maybe go from the classical to the more hip, the underground. Just do something to switch it up.
He takes before the ghoul can get near him with the razor. He just takes it, shoves some little, shaving cream on it, just takes it right off.
Well, if you want to do it that way, fine. You're just gonna have to make sure that it doesn't grow back.
I'll try.
Hmm? At this
And
point, there's probably at least maybe 6 or 7 retainers in the room at this point. They're now carrying in trunks. They're carrying in all sorts of things, suitcases with strange iconography on them. Some of them have tags from a distant countries or lands. And as standing sort of at the head of all of this, almost like a maestro conducting it, he just goes, "All right, let's begin. Trust me, kid. By the time I'm done with you, no one is going to fuck with Joseph Z. Marin."
let's hope so.
All right, strap them down, boys. This is going to be messy. And on that cryptic note, we are going to end our scene.